You cleaned up the diet, added the probiotics, ran the food sensitivity panels, tried more supplement protocols than you can count, and your child is still struggling with the same gut issues, mood swings, eczema, or sleep problems. Here's the truth that most parents are never told. You haven't failed. You've been working downstream of the real problem. When it comes to your child's gut, the brain is in charge, not the food, not the bacteria. The nervous system tells the gut how to move, how to absorb nutrients, and when to calm inflammation. And when that system is stuck in stress mode, no gut healing protocol on earth will give you the breakthrough you're searching for. Here's a stat that changes everything. Around 90% of the body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter that regulates mood, sleep, and digestion, is produced in the gut, and 70 to 80% of your child's entire immune system lives there too. So when parents tell us their child's mood, sleep, immunity, and digestion are all off, that isn't 5 different problems, that's one system breaking down in 5 different places. But here's what the wellness world rarely talks about. None of that gut chemistry happens on its own. The vagus nerve has to signal the gut to produce serotonin, and it opens these cellular gates to absorb it and route it to the right destinations. The nervous system tells the immune system when to turn inflammation on and when to shut it off. Without that signal, the chemistry just sits in the warehouse. And here's a study that drives this home. In one clinical studies, there were 120 colicky babies. Researchers found measurable autonomic nervous system dysregulation and significant improvement after gentle chiropractic care with no adverse effects reported. That's not a coincidence. That's the brain-gut connection at work, and is the missing piece in most pediatric gut healing plans. Because the nervous system and the vagus nerve and the gut, they all work together. First, the brain controls the gut, not the other way around. Most parents have learned the gut-brain story, but we've mostly heard it completely backwards. We've been taught that healing the gut will heal the brain. But actually, the brain sends signals down the vagus nerve to govern digestion from the top. Motility, absorption, inflammation, they all require coordinated nervous system input to function. Think of it this way. The vagus nerve is the head chef of the kitchen, and diet is just the groceries. So without the head chef giving orders, it doesn't matter how organic the food is, how skilled the staff are, the kitchen falls into chaos. So no matter how much money you've spent on supplies, it isn't going to matter because there is not the main control center doing what it needs to do. Second, let's talk about the 4 jobs of the vagus nerve. This nerve has 4 critical responsibilities for digestion. Number 1 is motility. That's moving food through the digestive tract. No signal means constipation, slow transit, and toxin buildup. Number 2 is absorption. The vagus nerve opens the cellular gates so nutrients actually enter the bloodstream instead of passing right through. Number 3 is assimilation. So this is the routing system. It sends nutrients to the right destination like iron to bone marrow, B12 to the nerves. And then number 4 is inflammation control. The vagus nerve is the body's chronic inflammation off switch through what's called the cholinergic pathway. So here's the takeaway. When this nerve is offline, supplements and probiotics are entering a system that can't simply fully use them. And this is exactly why families can plateau after months of doing all the right things, because their nervous system, it can't access that rest and digest part of the nervous system. And so third, the perfect storm breaks the connection. So how does the vagus nerve get knocked offline in the first place? It's almost always a stacking of stressors that we call the perfect storm. It starts with prenatal stress, which alters how the vagus nerve develops in the womb, sometimes before birth even happens. Then comes birth trauma. It could be forceps, vacuum C-section, breech presentation, induction, or even very fast labors. Any of these can strain the upper neck, which the vagus nerve runs right through. And so the vagus nerve exits right through the skull, and that strain can create something we call in the chiropractic world subluxation. So physical misalignment, restricted joint motion, disrupted nerve signaling, all can be created, and the body doesn't know how to relax from this. So after birth, antibiotics often wipe out the microbiome diversity early on, so that can be something that might throw them into the perfect storm. Processed foods, inflammation, all on top of an already dysregulated nervous system, and then by age 3 or 4, what began at birth has hardened into a chronic pattern of dysregulation. Fourth, here's why diet and supplements alone aren't enough. Let's just be honest about this. The cleanest food on earth can't compensate for a broken signaling system upstream. Probiotics, enzymes, herbs, they are all great. I love all of them, but they can't take orders from a head chef who's not there. So this is exactly why so many families stall after months, sometimes years of restrictive diets and expensive supplements. Now, nutrition is still essential, but it's the groceries, not the chef. The nervous system has to come back online for everything else downstream to actually work. Functional medicine, gut protocols, pediatric therapies, they all start multiplying the results once the neurology is regulated first. It's like opening up that window and allowing everything else that you've been doing good to get in. Now, fifth, what healing actually looks like and in what order. So once we get the nervous system regulated, what should you expect to see and in what order? Most children show measurable shifts in sleep and digestion within the first 4 to 8 weeks of consistent care. Bowel movements become more regular, reflux quiets down, food tolerance starts to widen. Next comes the immune changes, fewer infections, calmer skin, less eczema flaring. And then we start to see that behavioral and emotional regulation shifts come online. Meltdowns decrease, focus improves, anxiety eases, and finally, the developmental gains, speech, motor skills, social engagement, all start to advance. So it's literally how the nervous system rebuilds itself, the foundation first. And so once we can shift your nervous system or your child's nervous system into rest and digest, everything can start to heal. So if you've poured your heart into your child's gut health and still feel stuck, please hear this. Your child's nervous system is simply most likely stuck in stress mode, and that is something we can help shift gently and from the foundation up. So at the Will Healing Center in Lafayette, we use these scans to objectively measure where your child's nervous system is dysregulated, and we can use gentle, neurologically focused chiropractic care to restore the brain-gut connection from top down. Very light touches to help unwind the stress in the nervous system. Send us a DM or check out the link in the description of this video to start your healing journey. Or your healing journey. Your family deserves so much more than another supplement protocol on the shelf. You deserve hope, answers, and help. I am excited to meet you. Thanks.